And next up, we have Greg Ruff, who is our executive director and founder. So Greg is an entrepreneur, but then he was also diagnosed with DCM. Actually had a heart transplant, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't know about you all, but if it had been me, I would have taken time to relax, been like, new heart, who dis? Instead, Greg has redoubled his efforts. He spends all his energy, time, and talents in helping people whose lives are impacted by this horrible disease. And we're so lucky to have him at the helm. Thank you, Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Becky. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to Ryan and Becky for this evening. What a wonderful event. Thank you so much for having us here. And also the tremendous support that Becky has given being on the board and the Graciano family. I'd like to thank Ray and Anna for the great explanation of understanding the disease and the genetics behind it. I think it was absolutely wonderful. And Bo for the wonderful story. Last but not least, thank you all for being here this evening. And I know a lot of you were here 2 years ago and have supported the foundation. We appreciate it very, very much. Let's roll to, so what does the DCM Foundation do? What we are doing is hopefully, and I believe we are accomplishing, creating hope for over 1 million people with dilated cardiomyopathy. So as Anna said, and Ray said, 1 in 250 people have dilated cardiomyopathy in the United States. Most of them, a lot of them don't know it, but it's a disease. It's a huge disease that nobody understands. We need to change that. We need to bring awareness to that. DCM is also the leading cause of heart failure and heart transplants. It kills tens of thousands of people each year in the United States and has a huge impact on our healthcare system financially and from a patient burden standpoint. Did you know, as I mentioned before, 1 in 250 people have DCM? It runs in family, as Ray and Anna have done such a wonderful job explaining. And if you have the genetic gene that causes dilated cardiomyopathy or any genetic cardiomyopathy, all of your children have a 50% chance of actually having the disease. So it's pretty devastating in families in general. And I'll go back, but it actually can be, with genetic testing, with, being checked by a cardiologist, people can be treated early on. And hopefully in the future, the disease can actually be prevented. And we actually have, I think, 4 companies here this evening that are working on genetic cardiomyopathy therapies, which is really, really exciting. And there's many more. It's coming. It's happening. Less people are going to die in the future. As of 2018, there was no support. There are diseases that have 9 people that have a support group, patients, right? A foundation. Over 1 million people. As of 2018, there was no support. So Ray and I, we started the DCM Foundation. And to bring information support to these folks, we had 3 foundational pillars. But one thing that we really want to focus on, we have focused on, is serving underserved populations. The people that don't go to Stanford, UCSF, people that go to the common cardiologist. These are the people that are in need and clearly are not getting the proper treatment. So here's our foundational pillars: information, education, patient family support, and genetic awareness. Our reach, this is through 2024, website traffic. So we have 2 websites. We'll talk about the DCM Foundation right now. And the DCM Foundation website has both a full English and a Spanish version. 40% of our traffic year to date comes to the Spanish site from heavily Spanish-speaking states in the United States, Central America, South America, and also Spain. It's very, very much needed. We do a lot of outreach via social media. We have had almost 4,000 people in 2024 attend our webinars, our monthly webinars, and we have over 11,000 people in our DCM Facebook group. So in 2022, we sort of recognized, we created the DCM Foundation and realized that genetics and cardiomyopathy, played a huge role, and it was not addressed and tremendously underserved. And we also realized, if you looked at Ray's chart that he brought up, the interconnection between the genes, So when you look at genetic cardiomyopathy, you can't look at it as DCM or HCM or ACM or the different types of types of cardiomyopathy. There's such an intertanglement of the genes and which disease that it causes. So we formed in 2023 the Genetic Cardiomyopathy Awareness Consortium. Again, you can tell I'm not a marketer because that is a terrible name for an organization. I think it has 14 syllables. GCAC, we call it. We launched in 2023. It's about increasing the awareness of genetics to patients and also the medical community. So here's GCAC, brought to you by the DCM Foundation. And right now we have 12 partner groups that are part of the GCAC. The folks from Heart Charge are here with us this evening. Thank you. We appreciate them. They do a great job explaining the disease to the younger population. I'm 61. I'm not huge. I don't understand that. So they're doing a great job with the younger population explaining the disease. GCAC traffic, again, our GCAC website, also geneticcardiomyopathy.org, has a full Spanish version. And I'm happy to say that we just hired someone a week ago, a fluent Spanish-speaking genetic counselor to answer any questions that our Spanish-speaking population may have, and to also help us develop Spanish-speaking webinars only. More collateral. We need to help people, and that's a huge population that's tremendously underserved in our country. Becky talked about, we were trying to find a way to how do we help and support people, and we would create these like monthly meetings where people get together. It's so hard today to get people on a Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Pacific to come to a meeting. We found that people like communicating, online in social media settings. And so we started creating last year gene-specific Facebook groups. Becky is one of the big admins and creators of the BAG3 gene-specific Facebook group. We now have 18 gene-specific groups in just about a year with over 3,200 members. And it allows them to gain support, connect with each other, because it's really important. People like to understand the disease, how their gene affects them, how it affects their family, things like that. It's also really important for companies that are here that are putting together gene therapies, for Ray and his research, that we identify more patients that have certain specific genes to create more research and to create more therapy. So it's kind of a dual mode that why we created these groups. So you've seen before, nearly 50% of all cardiomyopathy cases in the U.S. are inherited, but only 1% of cardiomyopathy patients get genetically tested. It's a crisis in genetic testing. It's ridiculous. It really makes me absolutely angry. There's no reason. It's negligent. I could call genocide. And I'm really angry at the cardiology medical community, something Ray's fought for 30 years, still fighting to this day. So it makes no sense to me why people aren't getting tested. It's insanity. But part of it's lack of awareness by patients and cardiologists. We're working to improve that. Cost of insurance and concerns with insurance, life insurance, long-term care, things like that. Not knowing what to do next with a genetic cardiomyopathy diagnosis. And in the ease of testing, you in the tech world, trying to get a genetic test, we talk about frictionless, creating frictionless apps for people. Trying to get a genetic test is like, it's like grading friction. It's terrible. It's 160 steps that stop and start. It needs to be much simpler. It needs to be frictionless. And lives are at risk. People are dying. Potentially tens of thousands of people are dying each year because they didn't get a genetic test. A third of all genes that cause cardiomyopathy can cause sudden cardiac death. If you're not tested, people would have a bad heart and they say, they died of a heart attack. Could have been sudden cardiac death that could have been prevented. Health insurance for most of these genes will actually pay for an ICD. If you have a gene that can cause sudden cardiac death, most commercial insurance and Medicare will pay for an ICD to prevent that death. But people are dangerously dying. It's absolutely amazing in this country that this actually continues to happen. So we put together a group and putting together 5,000 free tests, frictionless, easy tests. The patient can order themselves. I get calls, emails from patients each week that they're like Bo's family. My father had a heart transplant. My aunt had cardiomyopathy. My sister's sick. And the cardiologist will say, you don't need to get genetic testing. It's just absolutely wrong. It's terrible. So with the help of Becky and Ryan and a few interested people, We're putting free genetic testing for patients. It's easy. It's online. They can order it themselves. Cheek swab. If they have a positive result, then they can have a free online session with a genetic counselor in all 50 states and Puerto Rico, I believe. So, and this is important because we're trying to help patients, again, that maybe aren't getting the right care, don't have health insurance, and have limited financial resources. The last thing that we've done, and we'll let you guys, because I'm sure everybody wants a drink right now, because I know I do, is we've just started a new outreach. So most everything we've done historically in the last 6 years has been patient outreach. We've grown. There's been a lot of great things that have happened. But we now need to go out and attack the medical or the cardiology community. So we had our first webinar this week. We had 229 people in the cardiology medical community. Anna did a great presentation educating about genetics and cardiomyopathy. And we're going to continue outreach. We continue to grow. We're going to pound through partnerships with a lot of the nursing groups, and then also through email lists, things that we've acquired. We're going to start a campaign to raise additional awareness for this. So be the difference. If you're interested, I'll talk to you after this in providing any financial support. We would really appreciate it. One of the things is that we need continued money for, continue to grow, is for dilated cardiomyopathy, the DCM Foundation is providing more information, more outreach, getting more people involved. We continue to need to do that. We continue to need to grow. Awareness in genetics and cardiomyopathy, you've seen the problem. It's just, in those of you that are in tech, that are in different things, you look at this and you're like, this is unreal. Like this can't be true in this country. So we want to continue our awareness. And then we also would love to continue to do more free genetic testing for people, helping those that don't get the right care, don't have the money, don't have health insurance. Things are getting tighter. Things are getting more difficult. So we really appreciate you being here this evening. We appreciate everyone, the Gracianos. Thank you. And I'm going to be here later. I'm happy to chat with you. Thank you very, very much.